Everyone. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. This is a live Real Housewives of Miami review. So thank you, everyone that is able to join this live. If not, if you come in as Team Replay, you know I always appreciate Team Replay. Just come in, click the like button. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. So this is a live Real Housewives of Miami review. If we get people to come in and they're commenting on the show, they've seen the show or anything, then I will place comments on the screen. But thank everybody that comes in. And welcome to Sandra P's Gen Extra. Now, this is, if you have already watched it, we're in season 7. This is episode 1. So the ladies are back in Miami. And let me just pull up. I took a few notes because this was a pretty chock full episode. Hello, Linda Gamble. Welcome in. This is one of the moderators. I call her moderator extraordinaire because Linda Gamble actually gives a lot of support across YouTube to different channels. So whenever I see you, Linda, I appreciate it. I'm happy to have you in the Real Housewives of Miami live. And welcome in, everybody. Just click the like button. So we are going to start off. If you can see my screen, and I'm sharing my screen, that is the beautiful Gertie. I follow her at Gertie Design. We know that Gertie received a breast cancer diagnosis, and this is really timely. I just had a story yesterday about our sweet Ananda Lewis getting her wings. Thank you so much for confirming that you can hear me. Thank you, Linda Gamble. Ananda Lewis I forgot to mention, and I'm sorry that I did not mention, the first place I saw Ananda Lewis was BET's Teen Summit. So she is a Gen X legend as far as news, entertainment, the culture. She was a model. They said she knew carpentry. So she was a Jill of a lot of different trades. She was a wife. She was a mother. So rest in peace to Ananda Lewis. That's the beautiful Gertie. Welcome in, Mama Bees. That is another one of my moderators. I appreciate you coming in. Hello, Sharon Gobble. Sharon Gobble is the newest moderator. I'm so glad that she's willing to help as well. I don't see your wrench for some reason. I'm going to put it back up there. I'm not sure. Let me see what happened. I know I gave Sharon Gobble a wrench because when she gets time to stop in, she does stop in. And I do appreciate that. It's better to have more moderators than you need than not to have enough. Now, usually I will put it on subscribers only because I'm trying to grow my channel. So it does help to actually have moderators. So I can leave it sometimes on not the subscribers only mode, but sometimes when you do that, you're going to get people in there that are just there to make rude comments or something like that. And we don't have time for that. We enjoy the shows that we watch. Oh, no, that was Cece. That wasn't Sharon. Let me ask Sharon. All right. I apologize, everybody, for the moment of silence. And thank everyone. And this is going to be the Real Housewives of Miami review. So Cece is my latest moderator. I appreciate her being a new moderator. And Linda Gamble, extraordinaire, is here. Also, Mama Bees, frequently in the chat for support. So thank you. Is anybody else watching The Real Housewives of Miami? It's a Peacock show. It's a Bravo show. But what they actually do, thank you, Sharon. Thank you so much. What they actually do is they put an episode for some of the shows that are trying to get more people to watch it. They put the episode on YouTube. So season 7, episode 1, Back to Miami, is on YouTube. That is the lovely Gertie, who is one of the main characters to me because I love watching Gertie and her husband, Russ. She has 2 sons, and she was fighting a breast cancer diagnosis. She's made it through. We also see Martina Navratilova, who's married to Julie. Julie's one of the newer housewives, and they've adopted 2 toddlers, a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old brother. So that's wonderful. So I'll get started on the review, and just as people put comments or they come in, then I'll read comments. So we start out with a montage of Todd and Alexia's, what some people would call a fairy tale wedding, meaning that to me, fairy tales don't usually have the greatest ending, and this one didn't either, but it was very beautiful. Alexia refers to herself at times as a Cuban Barbie. She loves to have money, the trappings, all of that, those things, which is wonderful. Great for Alexia. But with Todd, I don't know that she knew him well enough to marry him. Adriana is another one of her castmates. Adriana of course, brought that up at the time. And Alexia would always say that Adriana was hating. So they show all of these pictures of the two of them being so in love, a lot of kissing, a lot of love talk, a lot of gifts. Alexia was in a building with an elevator, so they were living large. And then we find out that Todd snuck and moved from their condo, kind of like almost in the middle of the night. She said he even took shampoo out of the shower. And if you've been following since season 1, Alexia is one of the OGs. She has 2 sons. One is Peter, one is Frankie. Frankie went through some kind of accident years ago, and so now he has reverted to almost a teen, but Frankie is in his 20s. So he is someone that Alexia always has around. He's her love. And I love Frankie as well. Even though he's in the body of a grown man, he's the conscience of the show. When he's on the screen, he always compliments the ladies. He says exactly what he thinks. He's a real sweetheart. So Larsa and Adriana, we see what they're saying. They say that Adriana was right, but she didn't want to be right. We have Alexia and Marisol. Marisol is season 1 as well. She's an OG. She is meeting with Alexia to find out what happened with this breakup. We see her on a phone call for some reason to Teresa Giudice out of New Jersey. I don't know when they met, maybe at BravoCon. But Teresa's telling her, oh, that's horrible. So Adriana is mumbling. A lot of things make sense now. They do a lot of little shortcuts just to get the whole cast reaction. And then the meeting that Marisol is having with Alexia is in a bar. They both dress up to go anywhere. They're always in their heels, pretty dresses, always having a cocktail. Marisol calls cockies. So Marisol, they're both having spicy margaritas. They're drinking. And then they say that Lisa's going to meet them as well. Lisa is still going through a contentious divorce from Lenny. Lenny has a house on Star Island, which is huge. He's a plastic surgeon, and he married Lisa very young. I think he met her in her early 20s. He's done a lot of work on her. She looks really natural. She's beautiful. She looks like a little Barbie. But he kind of created Lisa from the ground up. He met her in Vegas, but last season, he was leaving Lisa for a girlfriend or fiance who was spending time in their house. He wanted Lisa and their 2 toddler children to leave the house. So that is another undercurrent of this story. Because Lisa now has a new boyfriend named Jody. We're going to see some stuff with Jody. Jody's a trip, y'all. Jody might be a detriment to Lisa's life. I'll tell you later what goes on with Jody. But Marisol and Alexia meet. They show an article. Production shows us an article. Lenny has left the fiance that he supposedly left Lisa for. So now the ladies are worried that Lisa might get back with Lenny just for the easy life. But Lenny if you watch Miami, he was really cruel to Lisa. Like I said, he wanted her and their children. These are not just her kids, their children. He wanted them out of the house. He didn't want to pay for things. It was just a mess. So jokingly, but not so jokingly, Marisol said, Lisa's joining us, so let's talk about it before she gets here. But then they proceed to do just that. So they are worried that she's going to go back with Lenny. But she is dating Jody, and she's been with Jody, I guess, a year. She was with him still at their last reunion. So Alexia is saying that, well, she didn't volunteer. It was brought up by Marisol that, are you back with Todd? Because I told you Todd left Alexia, moved out of the condo, took the shampoo out the shower, didn't tell Frankie where they were going. Frankie called, panicked. So that was a mess. Alexia and Todd were in the press. I'm sorry, everybody. Siri, stop notifications. Alexia and Todd are in the press that they were all over each other. They were on vacation. They were holed up in a hotel room. So Marisol is concerned that they're going to get back together. And Alexia said it's hard not to be in love with Todd. So I don't know if it's just the lifestyle or if she is in love with Todd. But Adriana, one of the things she fell out with Alexia, Adriana said that she heard a rumor that Todd was having money problems. So in order to keep Alexia, you have to actually have money. Like I said, Alexia has referred to herself as a star, a Cuban Barbie, and then there are other things in the wind about Alexia and her lifestyle. Everybody knows she used to be married to, her first husband was Herman. Rest in peace to Herman. but Herman used to keep Alexia in the most lavish lifestyle. Lisa joins. She says she's discussing getting back together with Lenny. She said that Lenny actually wants her back. And of course, the ladies like, oh, they can't believe it. What about Jody? This and that. Lisa's saying, Lenny is the children's father. I'm going to consider it. And then she ended up saying, I'm just joking, because the ladies were getting too upset. So Lisa is throwing a party for Jody. Alexia asked if Marcus Jordan is invited. You watch the show, or even if you don't watch the show, because these two are all over social media, or they were. Larsa Pippen is dating Marcus Jordan at the time. Now they have broken up. They've since broken up. The controversy in that is that Scottie Pippen is Larsa's husband, ex-husband of a few decades. Michael Jordan is Scottie Pippen's teammate, and Larsa was married to Scottie Pippen for all those years. And Marcus Jordan is quite a bit younger than her. I don't know what age Larsa is claiming. I guess in her 40s. She was younger than Scottie's. I guess he and Michael, they're two Gen X sports legends. We know who they are. They've got to be pushing 60, maybe. He's right around. Charles Oakley is Michael Jordan, one of his best friends, and I think he's 60 or 61. So they're right around that age. So he did have Larsa as a young woman. Larsa is my least favorite. That is a nice way of putting it, Sharon Gobble. I'm getting so I cannot stand Larsa. She's performative, and we'll see that in this episode. And y'all, just as an aside, Larsa and Marcus went on Traders kind of as a duo, and it was so awkward and ignorant. I was glad when they both got voted out. So Lisa's throwing a party for Jody's birthday, which is her new boyfriend, live-in boyfriend, y'all. They have a condo, a 6,000 square foot condo. And during the episode, they put up that they're paying rent of $32,000 a month. Then we find out that some of the ladies think that Jody might be a social climber. Larsa thinks that because Jody is still friends with Marcus. And because Marcus and Larsa are broken up, Larsa wants everybody else to cut Marcus off as well. So Larsa is mad that Jody and Marcus are still friends. The ladies, being Alexia and Marisol, saying, well, that's not right. You got to break up. How would you feel if we still followed Lenny and all this kind of stuff? Yes, Larsa Pippen is Scottie's ex-wife. Yeah, DJP is one of the moderators. Thank you so much. You have to, if you want to watch the show, it's a show that you can catch from any season, but episode 1 for season 7 is on. So yeah, that's the ex-wife. Thank you, CC, for clarifying. So we see Martina looking healthy and happy. Martina had more than a cancer scare, y'all. She fought cancer, and she is 100% cancer-free. Congratulations, Martina Navratilova. She is a tennis legend. She's married to Julie. Julie is a little bit younger than her, French lady. Julie's messy. I'm starting to see Julie as a climber. Julie's doing a couple of things and has done a few things to get on my nerves. But we find out that they have adopted, they were going through a journey to adopt a baby. They were able to adopt a 1- and 3-year-old toddler, boys, brothers. So congratulations to them. Confessional, Julia says she has goat poop in one hand and baby diaper poop in another. She's joking because she runs almost a farm. She has a lot. And that's the one thing I don't like about Julia. I admire the farm, but she would let the animals in the house and stuff. She had a party one time where one of the goats had a diaper on. It was just disgusting. He was walking on through the house. So we flash back to Julie as a young mom. She has 2 daughters. She says it's different raising 2 boys. And Martina says they're old enough to be grandparents. And Martina's right. So Martina asked how the friends took the news. We find out one of the underlying controversies is going to be this season. Julia wanted to get all of the ladies together via a Zoom call and tell them that they were successful in adopting 2 babies, the 1- and 3-year-old brothers. Now, Julia was late to the Zoom call. Gertie of Gertie Design, the young lady you see on the screen, she's a business owner. As I said, she was fighting cancer. She's a wife. She has 2 sons. She's very, very busy. Julia was late to the call and ended up, Gertie had to drop off the call. So we find out that Julia is mad about it. That is gross, CC. Some of these people, that's what they do. When you have an animal at a party, it's just nasty. But she's one of those people. So Gertie had to drop the call. Julia was late, and we find out she's upset about it. And Martina says, well, what else did she say? She said, well, Kiki wasn't there, but Kiki's daughter had dropped Kiki's phone in the toilet. So she gives Kiki a pass for that. Kiki is she's a castmate now. I guess she started a friend of, but we see a lot more Kiki. And I like Kiki, but I gave her a side eye this episode. I'll tell you why later. So now we find out that Martina and Julia are kind of upset with Gertie for not being on the Zoom call. Then we get Gertie comes in. Gertie says she was late to the call. I am very busy. And then when I asked her, well, I missed it. I couldn't get in the call. What was the good news? And Julia's like, well, you'll just have to wait for the news. So Gertie says she wasn't going to just sit around and wait like that. We have another scene where Larsa has her mom over. Larsa's mother is cooking. She says she loves when her mother comes because her mother cooks. Then Larsa's trying to convince the viewer that she's so broken up, going through this breakup with Marcus. She says he's sending her threatening texts. Larsa's crying that it's embarrassing. Production says, well, what is embarrassing about it? She says she was really in love with him. She wanted to be with him, but he's not good for her and her family. And then she said he's sending her mean messages. Now, the message that she read a message that from Marcus that says, leave me alone, stop contacting me. I will make things hard for you and you won't know when I'm coming, or something like that. So it sounds like Larsa maybe was still contacting him. So I don't really know what she mean about mean text or threatening text. But Larsa she's a person, to me, in my opinion, she exaggerates. I'm going to run a banner just in case I say something, because I know later on a situation comes up that is actually currently in the news that I will probably need a banner for. Lisa and Jody are having breakfast. Lisa's cooking for Jody. Jody's the boyfriend. They're in the new large condo. It's really beautiful, everybody. We find out that Lisa only has her young children, and they were toddlers when we first met them, but they're probably like 4 and 7 now or something. She has joint custody with Lenny. Lenny's mother helps him take care of the children. Lenny is still in the house. Remember, he had wanted to put Lisa out. So she has this condo. So they are discussing whether or not he should still be friends with Marcus. She tells him she's having a birthday party for him. They're not going to invite Marcus because they don't want all the drama of inviting Marcus. And Confessional Lisa tells us that she just reunited with her father after a rocky childhood. And Lisa left home at 16, y'all. So Lisa ended up being a very young lady on her own in Las Vegas. And she encountered Lenny, who's a very successful plastic surgeon. He's rich. He's quite a bit older than her, even though Lenny is facing everything. He's pulled up. Lenny's, in my opinion, has had a lot done, but mother time is mother time, or father time, as some people call her. Gertie goes to visit on Kiki on the yacht. We find out she's showing her scar. She's cancer-free. Shout out to Gertie. As you can see, she's on People Health magazine that I've posted. She shows her scar to Gertie. She says she's gained 30 pounds. It looks good on her. She was tiny anyway. Now she's just, I don't know what 30 pounds looks like, but she was, a 30-pound weight gain. She looks to be about a size 6 or something. She's really small, but she's happy with everything. We see her in the car with Russ. Russ is her husband. She's telling him she wants to get back to herself, get back to her business, her family. She doesn't want him in the role of caretaker. And the look on Russ's face, Russ loves himself some Gertie. They're about 2 decades in, and he's just like, I don't care. I'll be that. And he will. We've seen him be that. I think they're my favorite Miami couple. So in the confessional, Kiki is saying that she dated the head of the Miami Yacht Club, and that's how she gets access to all these yachts. So production wants to know whether or not she would ever break up with him. Kiki said, yeah, of course. Because Kiki, she's her own woman. I love Kiki. She's beautiful. She still models and everything. She sent her 18-year-old son to college. So Kiki now has a college-age son. She also has a daughter. So Gertie is teasing Kiki about, yeah, you get to go yachting all the time with your boyfriend and this sort of thing. Adriana joins them. She's saying that she's dating this new French boyfriend. He's 6'4". Confessional Adriana tells us that she loves her men French roast, tall, dark, and handsome. So then we see a next scene, Larsa and Alexia meet. Larsa's asking Alexia if she's single. Larsa goes on and on and on about a man, having a man, being in a relationship. Larsa gets on my nerve with that. Alexia is kind of the same. She says she's not single because her heart is still attached. Dear Yvette came in and is saying hello to everyone. Hello. Thank you for coming in, dear Yvette. Gertie does look great. I'm so happy about the news, Sharon Gobble, that she's cancer free. I love it. So Confessional Larsa is telling us that she always has Lisa's back because her and Alexia are complaining that Lisa is still friends with Marcus. Larsa's reading this so-called threatening text from Marcus, but as I said, it said, I'm going to get you when you least expect. Leave me alone. Stop contacting me and stop contacting all my friends. Dear Yvette Kent with Larsa says she needs to go. Andy likes Larsa because she's so messy. She brings them as she's delusional, and she is able to showcase a lot of money with that condo, but it comes up later, something that Lisa says to her. Now, it's kind of controversial. I don't really know what Larsa does. I know she says that she's some type of influencer, but there was controversy that maybe she had an OnlyFans or something. Somehow she was showing her feet online. I don't know. I don't knock it. If you can get the money showing feet, go ahead and do that, Larsa. But Larsa talks about everybody else. But to me, she has some areas as well that could be looked at. So Alexia tells Larsa that she needs to speak to Lisa because they're good friends. And there's been kind of a thawing. I mean, not a thawing, but their relationship's a little frozen right now. But don't do it at Jody's party. So Larsa says, Lisa is in Lisa land, and she needs to take a class to get out of Lisa land and into the friendship zone. I took a note on that because I didn't understand what Larsa's talking about. Y'all, I think Larsa may be having somebody help her with her reads or insults because Larsa's not able. I thought that was so corny. I don't know what Lisa land is. I think Larsa is the one who's self-absorbed. I don't see that in Lisa. So we'll get to the party. Adriana telling us that her French boyfriend is a French aristocrat. He's a aristocrat. He's a marquis. She says she walked in with a 6'4" piece of meat. They were the first ones at the party. She said she's going to make all the ladies hungry. But nobody else is really interested in this man. He's nice looking enough if you like that type, but I don't see what Adriana wanted everybody to be kind of jealous of. She sits down there with her boyfriend. They immediately start making out. So to me, this is contrived. Adriana's trying to make everybody jealous. Oh, so Mama B's confirming that, yes, she has an OnlyFans. They say that's lucrative. And I'd heard that. I think when Andy brought it up at a reunion, she was kind of dismissive of it. And then he didn't press her on it like he would somebody else. So used to be really good friends, Adriana and Julia. They're distancing. Confessional Adriana said they're distancing because Julia is better friends now with Alexia and Marisol. And so Julia's storyline is corny this year. Gertie does have a real business. So Julie have to have this little feud about Gertie dropping off the call. That's kind of ridiculous. And then Martina and Julia, they said that they're going to protect the little boys. So they're not going to show us the little boys. So we don't know how much of that storyline they're going to be able to show. So they had a party. The party looks like it's really nice. It's laid out. Jody and all his friends are there, except Marcus Jordan. Lisa has invited all the ladies. Gertie arrives in this. Now, I forgot to mention the theme. Hollywood, old Hollywood is the theme. Kiki looks really pretty. Kiki's always dressed classy. She's in a red dress as well, but it's covered up with like one of those peplum collars, and it's really, really pretty. And all the other ladies start to arrive. Gertie shows up in a red lace bodysuit. So we get confessional Kiki kind of joking. I don't know a lot about old Hollywood, but I know they didn't show. She said, I know they don't show their nips, and I know they don't show their coochie. So that was funny. I don't know what Gertie was thinking about the theme. She did look good, but the first thing on my mind was that it looked out of place. So they're doing something called a Bonnaroo liquor shot, which Kiki said is some rich people-ish. I don't know. Maybe it's an expensive liquor. So they are drinking. Everybody's greeting each other. Julia and Martina curve Gertie. Gertie says hello to them both. And they're just kind of like, hi, give her a really dry hi. And then Gertie's like, well, how's the boys? How's the little kids? Is everything going good? And they're still like, They don't want to talk to her. So confessional Gertie's like, hi, Julia. Hi, Martina. I didn't like how they treated her. I think that was unnecessary. Martina, don't want to be offensive or anything. Martina she takes the husband role. Of course, she's going to take Julia's side. And Martina's not messy, but she takes whatever Julia tells her at face value. There was no reason for Martina to treat Gertie like that. Gertie didn't do anything wrong. We have a Zoom call that's scheduled. You are late. I run a real business and have 10 other things going on. I don't blame Gertie that she had to drop off the call. But like was mentioned, there might not be a real storyline because she says she's not going to show the toddlers. So, and further in the party, we still have Adriana and this boyfriend making out all over the couch, which I find to be the public display of affection. You can do a peck or whatever, but what these two were doing was kind of rude. And it was so funny. Marisol has a confessional where she's like, Adriana has a problem getting men, keeping men, so she better get it where she can. And she was kind of like shading Adriana, which Adriana, it did look kind of desperate. I don't know why she thought that was going to be cute. Legally, she can't show them toddlers. DJP, yes, she actually can. They're her children now. They're adopted. Because Lisa has 2 children, and it's a general thing on the Housewives show. They show the children. Yeah, and Sharon is saying that was very rude. Yeah, the way they treated Gertie, I didn't like that. It was extremely rude. It was unnecessary. So we have Larsa Pippen arrive last to the party. I think she only did that because she wants to make an entrance. Y'all know I don't see it for Larsa already. She pulls Lisa aside. She wants to talk to Lisa about why is Jody still friends with Marcus. Lisa's telling her, it's not that we're still friends with Marcus. I'm not going to alienate him because you and he have broken up numerous times. Okay. So, and it's true. We hear 4 to be exact, but maybe more than that. I remember them doing a back and forth off and on. They'd be talking about each other in the media and then they'd be so in love. And confessional Gertie says she has a speed dial. Larsa has a speed dial to TMZ, which is true. Larsa does call the press. She's best friends with the Kardashians. So that's the type person Larsa is. And she's starting to look more and more like them, y'all, in my opinion. Larsa doesn't admit to any work that she has done when Andy asked her, other than, let me see, excuse me. I can't think of anything she admits to. But to me, it looks like she looks more like a Kardashian now than she did season 1. Larsa's an OG. She was from the first season of Miami as well. Miami paused, and we came back with some new ladies. But they have quite a few of the original ladies. So during that party, which looked like a really good party, the food, the drinks, everything, Larsa is saying that, you met Marcus through me, and Jody met Marcus through me, and I expect you not to be friends with him. Larsa is pressing this issue. I think this might be her storyline. Their event is confirming what I believe. I do have the banner running because she doesn't admit it, but yes, her whole body is fake, allegedly, and in my opinion. She said she showed those feet on the OnlyFans. I want to see what else is going on because she claims that she did not have her body done. And season 1 Larsa and now Larsa are 2 different women. So I don't care what she's saying. So Larsa and Lisa are kind of going at it about Jody's continued relationship with Marcus Jordan. And Larsa in the confessional calls Jody a social climber. She says that he is in love with my boyfriend's last name, which I have to agree with Larsa on that. I think Jody is someone that is seeking attention. I want Lisa to be very careful of Jody because this is very strange that happened, y'all. Jody says, we need some, does anybody want to go take a shot? And they want some air. He's speaking to his friends only, right? So they go in the room. Production follows them. They show a locked door. And Jody says, that's good, right? It feels good, right? This is good. I'm like, what are y'all doing in there behind that locked door? So there's speculation. I don't know if taking a shot and air conditioning was euphemism for something else, because there is actually AOL Online had a story out where Lisa's saying, this is not true. They're saying that it's code word for something else. And Jody's saying, that might be true for 50% of Miami, but not me. I barely drink. But Jody, that did not look good on TV. And as I said, Lisa has her toddlers over there half the time. She's got 50% joint custody with Lenny. And Lenny has been terrible to Lisa. Even though his mom is the primary caretaker of the children, Lisa does not need something like this in the news. So I didn't like Jody doing that. And I'm not going to get on production when they show stuff like that. But when I was watching, I said, what in the world? What are they doing back there? So Larsa and Lisa are still complaining. Larsa calls Lisa a fake B because Lisa said, we left a real party for your fake breakup. And she's Larsa called Lisa a fake B. Lisa was actually speaking very calmly. She was seated the entire time. Larsa was yelling most of the time. She ended up calling Lisa a B, calling her, saying she drinks all the time. She's drunk. What I didn't like about Alexia and Marisol, all of the ladies were there. Nobody defended Lisa. It's Lisa's party for her boyfriend in her own house, and Larsa is getting loud. She's yelling. She's calling Lisa out her name, and Lisa is speaking regular tone, seated. Larsa ends up, and then Lisa, she finally called her a B one too many times, and Lisa asked her, she says, "You can leave. There's a door. Goodbye." Larsa gets up and for some reason goes in the bathroom. Kiki follows her in there and says, "You're that girl. Of course people are going to try to start stuff with you." So Larsa's fake crying. Woo! And I said fake crying because she kind of covers her face. We don't see any tears and she's making like cry sounds. But I didn't see anything happen for Larsa to be in there screaming and crying. And she actually says, and production is in there, Lisa is saying that it's a fake breakup. It's not a fake breakup. And then we have a confessional with Gertie saying, if you break up 4 times, which one is the real breakup? She said it is a fake breakup. So I agree with Gertie. Alexia and Marisol are taking Larsa's side, telling Lisa, you shouldn't try to put her out. You need to apologize to her. That wasn't right. We don't want the two of you to fall out. Both of you are at fault. That's Alexia. Both of you, the way you speak to each other is not right. But Lisa didn't curse Larsa out. Lisa didn't do any of that. Larsa was the one getting loud. So Larsa says she's always drunk. She's crazy. She's already drunk. She's stupid. Larsa doesn't have any reads. She's just doing a lot of name calling. She comes back out to the party, y'all, sits back next to Lisa and is still yelling at Lisa, cursing at Lisa. Lisa asked her to leave. Lisa got up to go change her dress, okay? She came back. I said, Lisa reminded me of a little Barbie. She's so cute. She came back in a little short white dress with a big flower on the front. She's really cute. And Larsa finally decides she's going to take Lisa up on her request and leave the party. Kiki's following her down to the street. Kiki, I usually love Kiki, but y'all, Kiki was acting like a pick-me. I don't like that. Why are you chasing after Larsa? And Larsa is dead wrong. She's cursing this lady out in her own house. Lisa never raised her voice. She never cursed. The one read she got off was true. I agreed with it. She said, we left a real party for your fake breakup. And that set Larsa. That's why she was still screaming, crying, running in the bathroom. Now she's left the party. She's on the street with Kiki. And Kiki's saying, you're so beautiful. This is Miami. You have big boobs. We don't want anybody to do anything to you. So she's walking Larsa to her car. Kiki she came off as a pick-me. So we go back upstairs to the party. There is a saxophone player playing a happy birthday solo to Jody. Lisa is dancing. And they flash back to Kiki and Larsa still on the street. Larsa still yelling. So that was the end of the episode. It was a good first episode. I will rate it probably an 8 because we got back in touch with all of the ladies to see what they were going on. They had a lot of interactions with each other. Miami probably is one of my favorite cities that they showcase because of the homes that everyone has, or even like with Kiki. Kiki probably is the one maybe with not as much money as the other ladies, but when they showcase her, she's always stylish. Like this episode, she was on a yacht. So I do love the scenery in Miami. Everybody's beautiful, even though some of them, more than others, have some other things going on. I don't knock that. So with the previews, we didn't get Dr. Nicole. Dr. Nicole's one of my favorite. You thought it was good too, Sharon? Yeah, I did. I thought it was good. So I'm looking forward to Dr. Nicole because this was a good episode and Dr. Nicole was not there. We know that she's married to Anthony. They have private jet money, okay? Anthony is a prominent attorney in Florida, and one of their trips last year, Anthony's jet took the lady somewhere, and they got into it with Nicole, and they were on her husband's jet, so they're a trip. But I do like the kind of the drama that was involved. Nothing too crazy. I didn't like Larsa calling Lisa out of her name, and the other ladies taking Larsa's side. So this is pretty good. Hopefully this will be a good season. They're going to introduce another lady who is an ex of Anthony, which that they're just being messy because we see Kiki saying she has a private jet, you have a private jet, because Nicole and Anthony are building this huge home in Florida. They do have Anthony's private jet. So his ex, evidently she married money, already had it. She had a private jet, so it's going to be battle of the private jets. And then we get to see Lisa is going to be walking in a fashion week. So this is going to be a pretty good season, I think. I hope so, for episode 1. So thank you for joining the live review. I don't want to make this too long. I'm already over 30 minutes. So my niece, she's my moderator, arguing on someone else's jet is insane. Yes, and they're giving you a ride there, but that's how these ladies are. So I recommend you can even pick up season 7, episode 1. If you decide you want to go back and get to know people, maybe start in season, let's say 4 or 5. But yeah, I really like the ladies of Miami because they were paused by Bravo for a while, and they ended up, I think they were just on Peacock or maybe an internet, something, but they actually fought and the show is back on Bravo, on Peacock, and they have their share of the audience. They have me for right now. So thank you everybody for joining Sandra P. Gen Extra Live Miami Season 7, Episode 1. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your Friday, and I'll see you in the YouTube streets. Thanks, everybody. Bye.